Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks here to bring you your weekly flesh and blood market update. Let's get into it. It's actually a pretty quiet week, and I don't have a lot of time. I may actually have to move which day I do these on. Work schedule has gotten insane. It always is in fall, but the day that I normally do the recording is becoming problematic because of recurring meetings and that sort of thing. So I apologize in advance if our data is shifted by a day, but it is what it is, and it's weekly data. It doesn't matter that much. No, not really. So anyways, let's jump into the boxes. WTR is down 8.11% to $68 from 74. This is a recent low. It's pretty remarkable. If you've been waiting for some WTR Unlimited, which we know is out of print, we know there's only so much supply. Seems that there's more than Arcane Rising, based on the big event and all that sort of thing. But point being is that the supply is limited and it is at the last leg of its existence. Not anytime soon. It's not going away anytime soon. Just saying that we know that there's no more coming. So with that in mind, this may be your strong opportunity to pick up some. I would wait. Watch it for a few weeks, see how it goes. Again, not financial advice, as we always know here. But it's one of those things. If WTR Unlimited was something you wanted to grab a case of, a box of, or whatever, and hold on to as a nostalgia thing, you're probably going to get your best next bet on buying it in the near term. We will continue to see downtrends in the market for the same reasons we've talked about the past few weeks. Macroeconomic situations, risk-off environment, and cost of capital paradigm are all things that are factors that basically need to be considered when it comes to putting money into any sort of product with a speculative nature that you're hoping for a speculative return on. That said, cardboard's probably the last thing you want to be completely invested in a time like this. Bonds and those sorts of things, risk-off assets are the easiest and best money, best risk-adjusted returns, as it were. So keep that in mind when it comes to the cardboard world. This is not the best place to be in the short term. In the medium and longer term, it might actually be pretty good if you find the right lows to move into it. And as with crypto, I always recommend dollar cost averaging. We've talked about that over the past few years a couple of times, and different ways to do that. If you only have so much money you can spend on a weekly basis, you can look at older cards. With Magic, it was things like the reserve list. With Flesh and Blood, it's your first edition cold foils. It's your early products. These types of products, first edition stuff, staples. Your pummels, your pink pummels, and things like that. They're all fairly affordable and will continue to be affordable. And during this downtrend lull, which may, just so everyone's clear, last a few years. We've talked about it before, but just want to make it clear up front. During this lull of a few years, most likely, when no one is interested, that's your best time to buy. When everyone's afraid, be greedy. When everyone's greedy, be afraid. Classic rule, Berkshire Hathaway. It's the way to go. So what we're seeing is similar to what we've seen in crypto spaces and other spaces, and that is that buying in the lull is generally a winning strategy. So that said, WTR, that's a lot of ways to get to WTR. First edition boxes are pretty low after coming off of highs, and it will continue to slump. I suspect we may even get a $50 box. If we do, that would be a good time to capture some of that lull, if that's something you're interested in long term. Again, long term. Think 5-year time horizon minimum. If you're not willing to wait 5 years, then don't put your money into it. Not financial advice, but that's just not a good thing to do with your time and money if you end up, being afraid to hold on to it for 5 years. So if that's a situation where, oh, shoot, the whole economy crashed and everything's bad and I'm not sure about my job, and I have this cardboard on the wall here, that's where you're in a bad situation. Imagine that being real. And if that is something that is realistic to you as a possibility, then don't be invested in things that you can't move in a down market, right? That it's very illiquid. You need to be in more liquid assets like T-bills, treasuries, all that sort of stuff. Anyways, all right, moving on. Enough with the non-financial advice. ARC is up 10.64%, which is great. I don't think it will last very long. I think this is a reversion to the mean. I think it just dropped too quick, and so it's just doing the rubber band thing, moving back. It did not hit the previous high, so it's still on a downtrend. As you can see by 1.7, 1.11, 1.22, it didn't even get close to it. So we'll look at the chart, but point being is it's still on a downtrend. I don't expect that to change, but it may have found a temporary bottom, which is cool. WTR is unlimited cases. Sorry, is down 5.10% to 279 from 294. Same sort of story as this. We're same thing, basically the same thing. Moving on to first edition, not much to talk about. Just Everfest is down 6.9% to 54 from 58. It was 59. It's basically sat in this range for a long time, so nothing really special here. I expect it to replicate this move, this 52 to 59. The fact that it hit 54, I'll have to double check to see if there's any prices lower than that. There may have been during the week, but 54, I expect it to bounce back up. Question is it back to 59 or is it lower? Because 59 has been a pretty stable point for this. If it ends up bouncing back to, say, 57 instead of 59, then we can expect more price weakness. If it goes above that, then we might see a temporary uptrend and or stabilization at this point, or continued stabilization at this point, because it's been at that point for a long time now. That is really it on the booster boxes. And I don't have cards to go through. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm on a tight schedule today because of my work changes. So we will go through the charts very quickly here. Not much to report on WTR. I did want to look at the ARC chart. ARC this is that check mark. I do like to see that. It does feel like a strong bounce if you look at the way it's moved in here. I'm okay with this. I like this. I hope it maintains up here 97 range sort of thing. But with the historic downward pattern, I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm not going to assume that's the case, and I don't really see it climbing in the near term. Now, one exception that may prove me wrong, which is totally fine. I don't mind being wrong. I follow the data first. Is that this could be reflection of inside information about supply constraints. Now, we know that it's out of supply. We know that distribution does not have it for sale anymore, but we don't know if distribution has like little chunks that they were pushing out here and there. And we don't know how much of that there was, right? So the fact that it has been gone for a while, and I'm assuming there's some level of difficulty in gathering it when a shop wants to run a draft or whatever, right? Basically, when they can't find it anywhere, at a reasonable price, the prices do start to climb again. So ARC being the one that seems to be the most limited because of the draftability, because of the demand, etc., seems to have climbed first, which we saw with the 120, 130 range. So there is a possibility that this will be the first demonstration of a true supply loss, like no more ARC Unlimited in the field. And when that happens, it climbs crazily, right? It gets hyped crazy. Nothing else to look at with Unlimited. So moving on to the next thing, let's see if there's anything. There really wasn't that much on first either. We'll just skim through real quick. Premiums intact for the old products. Mon is flatlined together. Full parity. Tails is actually starting to look like Mon. That's interesting. It's not just a dinosaur anymore. I know that was Unlimited. Whatever, guys. Let me have my fun. Everfest, yeah, it dipped down, and we have a premium intact. But again, yeah, we've seen this a couple times. I think it's going to go back up and stabilize back at a standard position that has been pretty solid at for a while. And then the 2.0 products, so we're seeing price decline to match this case level. So yeah, this is very reflective of economies of scale versus premiums on gambler premium or whatever they call it. Basically the chance of getting the golden ticket, if you will. I wonder if that means the golden tickets aren't holding up. Let me know what you guys think about the Marvels and the value cards, the quote-unquote collector cards for 2.0. I'm actually very curious what the crowd thinks about that, because based on the price action, it's not being well received. And well, I said I wasn't going to do this, but I guess I will a little bit. And looking at it, they do hold up okay. Like the dragons are doing fine. The big dragons have come down obviously from the hype. But the little dragons, the Mai I think is the cheapest one. These are above by, oh, I don't know, what, 20% up, maybe a little bit more, from where they were stabilized at that $20 range for the longest time. Now, we are seeing a meta where Dromai is presumed to be queen. Sorry, I just realized it side's cut off here because the filter thing pops out. I do not like that, especially for videos. But that said, does that mean all these dragons drop like a rock when she's LL'd? Icelander's LL'd, or about to be LL'd. She's 100 points away, it looks like. Although, if you look at the meta breakdown, she was not presented. No one is bringing her to the big games anymore. So I'm curious. She might have another season in her with just 100 points left. We've seen it before. Meta shifts and she's no longer really viable compared to some of the others. That may be a factor. The weapons and armor, they're holding up fairly well. I know Azalea Sand Scour was a thing. I don't know if it still will be a thing in the new meta with the mechanologists and all that stuff going on. But like Celestial Kimono, I guess it's down, but it definitely was lower. Yeah, I guess it is kind of at its lows though, right? Yeah, it hit lower a couple times, but yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think about these Marvels? Do they feel like they're holding value the way you want them to? The market says no. And the reason I say that is because the case premium, where you get a higher probability of hitting one of these hits, is not there for 2.0 products where these were introduced, which makes me think that the market doesn't value these. And it's treating it as economy of scale. You're buying 4 boxes. You're just getting more efficient per cost per card. And so that means that these don't make up the difference, right? That is just economies of scale versus premium on a potential high value hit, like these big boys. But I guess maybe the odds are too low, and so they broke it. Well, they didn't break it. They did it the way they wanted. They wanted game pieces. They wanted people to have availability of stuff. But it just takes away the standard historic premium on sealed cases and the like. We haven't seen it in 2.0. It has not held up in any 2.0 products. I think since 2.0, we're seeing a big change in the way the market perceives sealed products. So it's interesting to talk about. It's interesting to think about. I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments if there's any collectible pieces that are particularly interesting, valuable, or hold up, or people really do love. I'm really seeing it as a reflection of game pieces, i.e. what's happening in the meta, which is fine and great. Does leave for some speculative opportunities. I think Icelander is a perfect example. This Marvel, held at 100 for the longest time, but now that she's on the edge of dropping out, into LL, it's dropped. Now, when LL becomes a format, does it pop back up? I don't know. We don't know that yet. But yeah, it does seem to be primarily driven by meta over anything else, including things like this, which was lower for quite some time and then popped up to the 300 range. Yeah. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. Sorry this one was so short. Try to fix it for next week. We'll see. Like I said, my work schedule's insane. Actually, I'm traveling next week, so I might not have a market update. Tommy might be doing it. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good one. And out there cracking packs, playing games. I'm going to go to draft tonight. I'm looking forward to that. And I'll see y'all next time.